Our hero today, his name is Isaac. He was born to the fantastic parents, Abraham and Sarah, and he learned about faith from the beginning of his life. When he was almost 14, 15, his father took him to a trip, and he told him, we're gonna have a sacrifice to God. And they go there, and Dad, here is the wood, and here is the fire, where is the lamb? And he says to him, God will provide the lamb. And then boom, he turned around and he get a knife and he's gonna kill him. And then, what are you doing? God asked me to offer you, and I have to obey God more than I love you. You know that I love you so much, but I love God more. And then God comes in and reward Abraham. And Isaac learned this. See, he saw the faith. He saw that God, that Abraham will give everything to God. So Isaac had the best teacher, the best role model, the best faith father to follow. And he did. And he'd follow him, and he continued the legacy of Abraham, and through him, and he had his sons Ishmael, and his sons Isa, Esau, and Jacob, and then moved on. But one thing that Isaac, in the story of Isaac, that struck me is the way as he learned the strong sides of his father Abraham, and he learned from his father the strong sides, faith, belief, trusting in God. He also inherited the blind spots, and he actually exactly did the same mistakes as his father did. And that is very important thing to notice. You know, Abraham, when he went to Egypt, or when there was a famine, he said about Sarah that she's his sister, not his wife. So because he was afraid they would get killed. And Abraham did this twice. And then when famine came, and God told Isaac, don't go to Egypt, go to the Palestinians. So he went to Abimelech, and he said about Rebekah, his wife, that she's his sister. He did exactly what his father did. And here is the point, that when we follow strong leaders, we strong fathers in the faith, and we inherit from them we learn from them the strong things. We can also, if we don't notice, if we don't be careful, we also learn from them the negative things, and we do the same mistakes as what they did. So if you have a strong father in faith, or mother in faith, if you have a strong pastor, if you have a strong leader, study their lives. Try to learn the good, and try to see what weakness they have. Try to avoid to do the same as they did. God has had a grace over Abraham, and he covered his weaknesses, and also God has a grace over Isaac, and he covered his weaknesses. So in these three situations, when the men said about their wives that they are their sisters because they were afraid to be killed because of the beautiful wives, God protected them. That's God's grace. Has nothing to do with the way they did it, has nothing to do with the smartness we did it, but because God loves them and he covered their weaknesses. So God took care of Abraham twice and took care of Isaac once. But we need to learn from this. So take the good things from your leader, and if you study your leader and see the weak spots, and try not to do the same mistakes. Study them, not to condemn, not to be wicked against your fathers, but instead to learn. So when the same challenge comes, when the same issue comes in your life, automatically you do not do the same as your father did, but do something different. Do something more depending on God, and faithing in God, instead in learning what your father did, and you do the same. Abraham said twice, she's my sister, and Isaac said once, she's my sister. God protect us and giving us an eye-opening so we can understand this lesson, so we can avoid doing the same mistakes as our father in the faith does it.